नमामि विघ्नेश्वराय नमामि श्री सरस्वत्यै नमामि विघ्नेश्वराय नमामि श्री सरस्वत्यै नमामि गुरुदेवाय नमामि सर्वेश्वराय नमामि गुरुदेवाय नमामि सर्वेश्वराय। अतरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरम् हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरं मधुराधिपते वैदिकं मधुरम् Kunja Madhura, Mala Madhura, Yamuna Madhura, Vichi Madhura. Salinam Madhuram, Ramaram Madhuram, Madhura Jivane Rangitam Madhuram, Govinda Hare, Gopal Hare, Rangalal Hare, Gopi Madhura, Leela Madhura, Ruttam Madhuram, Ruttam Madhuram. Krishnam Madhuram, Krishnam Madhuram, Madhuram Hare, Ram Madhuram, Gopa Madhura, Gaho Madhura, Yashner Madhura, Vishner Madhura. Lalitam Madhuram, Lalitam Madhuram, Madhura Jivane Rangitam Madhuram, Govinda Hare, Gopal Hare, Rangalal Hare, Sri Krishna Hare, Govinda Hare, Gopal Hare, Rangalal Hare, Sri Krishna Hare, Govinda Hare, Gopal Hare, Rangalal Hare, Sri Krishna Hare, Govinda Hare, Gopal Hare, Rangalal Hare, Sri Krishna Hare. वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन रचितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी. Let me welcome all of you to this fourth night of this Yajna. If you are joining us tonight for the first time, we are seeing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8. And I told you that this chapter deals with I've been telling the last few days, this chapter deals with the art of dying. And the art of dying is to be mastered because life does not come without death. In the second chapter, Bhagavan says, in a very famous verse, Jatasya hi dhruva mrityu. That who is born, you better be certain that that fellow will die. And thankfully so also. Because if people did not die, Hare Rama, this earth would not have had any space. Huh? So it's a good thing people are dying. Now they're running out of space in the cemeteries. That's a different matter. Huh? That's why long ago the Hindus started cremating. When he gone for good. Yeah. That what do you call that? Cremation is recycling, you know. Cremation is recycling. Because this body is 90% water, right? The body is 90% water, like that. So the water from the body evaporates and it goes up in the sky. And it forms clouds and it comes down as rain. And you catch the rainwater and you drink. You drink your grandfather and you know. How long ago we teaching about recycling, you know? The body also recyclable. So, life comes never without death. The two of them go together. Jatasya hi dhruva mrityu. But the reverse is also true. Dhruvam janma mritasya cha, he says in the next line. That who has died will be born in some other place also. So no worry. But if we have to learn the art, we have to learn both art. And the art of dying is essentially the art of living, because the two of them is two sides of the same coin. No coin in the world will have only one side. If ever you find any, please show me. You will not find any coin with just one side. So, when we left it last night in verse number 8, Bhagavan Shri Krishna was telling, Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanyagamina. The mind being fixed on God, and this practice of Abhyasa yoga. Abhyasa yoga. Abhyas word I took last night, and I was telling that Abhyas is very important in any aspect of life. Any aspect of life. And here, we are talking about the spiritual aspect of life. Unfortunately, the other aspects of life are not dealt with properly in the homes also, so we have to deal with it here. You see? In the homes, it is duty of parents to really socialize their children properly, culture their children. It is duty of parents to do all of things, to make the children more refined and cultured. Here, this should be a place where we teach spiritual things, presuming that the other things have already been done in the home. You have to teach your child not to curse and not to say bad words, but nobody, in fact, they teach the child to say it. You see? All the manners and respect and reverence for older people and all the cultural values and so many things are there. That should be taught in the home. So now the space that is reserved for teaching spiritual matters here, about Atma, about meditation, about mind control, all the subtler things. The space that is reserved for that, now the space has to be used to teach all the things that should have been taught in the home. The regular discipline and all of that sort of thing, right? And especially reverence and respect and all of these little things. Respect today. How much respect we used to have for our teachers. That respect is to border on petrifying fear. Now, that has reversed. No joke. There are many teachers who tell me outright, Swamiji, I am afraid in that classroom. No, which school are you talking about? They are afraid. They just go there and they tell me very plainly, we teach. And who learn? Who doesn't learn? The teacher is afraid. That thing gone the other way. You see? So the things that were supposed to have been taught in the home are not taught in the home anymore. Not taught in the school, but the schools, of course, that's not their ward. School is to teach lessons and all the other things, So now here also. So this thing about practice, abhyas, a practice of all the great values and all the great things is required in the beginning, but here specifically, abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanyagamina. It's a practice of things like concentration of the mind, single pointedness of the mind, chitta ekagrata, and all such things. Chetasa nanyagamina paramam purusham divyam yati pata anuchintayan. Thinking about that supreme reality, that person goes to that state. And when we die, in other words, I told you that the whole chapter is reserved for answering this last question of Arjuna. At the time of death, how to remember Bhagavan. Well, it's not so easy. We have to remember him at the time of life. And life starts from 0 to death. So if you don't remember the time of life, remembering at the time of death is not possible. So only then we'll reach that supreme being. Now, the supreme being is spoken about in this 8th verse, Paramam Purusham Divyam. The divine Purusha, Paramam Purusham Divyam, supreme divine being, right? That supreme divine being is described in the 9th verse now with many wonderful words. And there is a principle in the Shastras which talks about the lakshanas or the lakshanani, the qualities of great souls or of Bhagwan. Those qualities become our guide in life. So if Bhagwan has compassion, that becomes a guide for me to develop compassion. I mean, I have to see his qualities and try to emulate those qualities. You see? So here, these qualities are given of the divine now for us to emulate. It is describing the divine, but not just. It is good to think about the divine and marvel at his great qualities and all that. But better than that, better than marveling at his qualities, is to really emulate his qualities. Bring those qualities in our own life. It is much better. Marveling is okay, but marveling is just the first step. So here are these qualities now in number 9. Now the meter changes there. I don't know if I will be able to sing that thing, but let us see. Kavim Puranamanushasitaram Anoraniyam Samanusmaredyah Sarvasya Dhataramachintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasapparasta Aditya Varnam Tamasapparasta The divine is described as Kavim. Kavi means Trikaladarshi. Trikaladarshi means he who can see the past, present and future. That means what? But it is true. I mean, there is no need to go on describing this whole big long thing about Bhagwan. Bhagwan is he who can see past, present and future. So for an ordinary human being, for all of us, seeing past, present and future means what? It means to say, keeping the mind in the present first. Keeping the mind right here. And having planted my mind in the present, going back to the past, as the Kathopanishad said, to see how the ancients, how the older people dealt with certain matters, to get a little guide from how they responded to certain things. So just go back to see how they responded to certain challenges and certain things that arise. Only that much, eh? Only this much the Shastra talks about. Go back to see what guide we can get from their behavior, from the way they responded to things. Not to go on dwelling in the other. Some people go on dwell in the past only. They get lost in the past. So he's not talking about dwelling in the past. It talks about just going back to see how the ancients dealt with certain issues and matters and challenges that arose in the present. That is all. Otherwise, it is not prescribed by Shastras to go back in the past, because the past doesn't have much to offer actually. The present has everything to offer. For a number of reasons. So, and when we go back to see how the ancients acted in the past also, that should be a guide only. Not that I should act exactly like that. It should be a guide. Like, for example, my grandfather used to sit in the floor and eat. So I have to see what lesson I could take from that. Practice. Not that anywhere I go. I go in pizza, and I sit down and eating in the floor. Why are you sitting? My grandfather used to do that. He teach me to sit on the floor. You go to Starbucks and sit on the floor. They'll arrest you. So, take a little guide and see. He acted like that, but should I act in the same way? And is it applicable now? That is all. No, not that you should follow what he did. So we go back to see how they acted and how they responded and take the essence of what they did. Then the next, planting oneself in the present, and then look to the future a little bit. We have to look. And many people, they don't want to meet the future at all. So we look, thinking now, like for example, just now, in another few years, I will become old. I should think now. No, nobody should think, I will never get old. That kind of thinking I'm talking about. Think a little bit about the future. I'll become old sometime. And then certain things will have to change. So from before, yes, when I reach this age, I will do such and such changes, make such and such changes. Or prepare for the future. In today's world, it is very difficult to live not knowing how to operate a phone. And things are going to get pretty soon. You will not need phones. You will not need any of the gadgets, handheld devices, nothing. So think about the future. They'll have on your eyes your contact lens. Contact lens will have the whole computer. You only wink. Next website. You look right side, left side, up, down, forward. Are there only buttons right there? Right, left, up, down, straight. Straight is enter. Everything is coming. Now they are going to be having, so when it comes, you accept. But this is, you did not make it, Live in the world, but think that the future is going to have different things and prepare a little bit. So Kavim, that quality of the Lord is he who knows all the three periods of time. So a little bit we should know the past, a little bit we should think about the future, but the most important thing is keep the mind in the present. If you notice, when he says he's Kavim, he's Trikaladarshi. It means to say, when we talk about knowing past, present and future, it is always because the person is in the present knowing about the past, he is in the present knowing about the future. The present is the pivot. So the mind has to be kept in the present, just taking a simhavalokayana, it is called in Sanskrit. Take a glance back. Like how a lion, simhavalokayana means like a lion. Have you seen a lion walking? Nicely, how they walk majestically, and then they stop. And they take a look back. And they turn again and, that only. The rishis observed that thing so well, they put a phrase in Sanskrit for that. Simhavalokayan. So that's just a little glance back, but move. Kavim. No, the other thing about that is, at the deeper level, it means to say one has to dive so deep into one's own self that one can see very clearly all things of past and future also. That is a possibility. It's possible for somebody to do. But the idea is to dive deep into the self, to become really a Kavi. This is what Tulsidas did and saw the whole Ramayana. From where he was sitting. Saw the whole Ramayana and wrote it down. Not only wrote it down, he participated in that Ramayana. Because all things in the universe exist. There is nothing that doesn't exist. So it is there somewhere, in some form, in some parallel form. All things are there in the universe. Nothing is missing. One can access it, but one has to dive deep. Kavim Puranam. This self is said to be Purana. Purana means it is ancient, but also new. Nava. Today only we were seeing that. Abhinava, Nava, fresh. At the same time, it is, that means to say what? That whatever age we are, at whatever age we are, at whatever time, period in our life, we should all the time be awake and alert and vibrant and vigilant. All the time fresh, not Now, in Trinidad, we call her half dead. No half dead attitude about nothing. You have to be alive and vibrant like that. Half dead, when anything don't pass. There are two types of people in the street, three types of people in the world. One type of person, they watch things happen. The other type of person, they make things happen. And the third type of person, they ask, what happened? He know what happened even. So that being alive and fresh and new all the time. Who likes stale food? And stale anything? Nobody like. You always like something fresh. So remaining, one other way to say that, remaining relevant. In the modern term will be remaining relevant. Otherwise we wane and we descend into dust. So remain relevant to everything. Remain relevant to your country, to your children around, to your relatives around, to your offspring, so everybody. Remain relevant. Purana api navam. All the time new and fresh. Kavim Purana Anushasitaram is called as Anushasitaram. Anushasitaram means the ordainer, ruler. So in ruler, this for us, I'm bringing all of the words for us. What the significance is for all of us. The ruler, the ordainer means first, I should gain control or mastery, rulership over my own body, mind and senses and all that. Over my own faculties, I should gain that rulership. If the person is able to master his own mind and his own senses and all of that sort of thing, he'll master things around very easily. Our problem is we are not able to master our own mind and senses and body and all of that sort of thing. Most of the time we don't know also. Sometimes body shaking, We don't know that it is shaking. No presence of mind there. So mastery requires a presence of mind. See, if I am doing, I should know. You can do. No, nobody's saying don't do. Shake. What if you don't want to shake? Shake. But you should know that you are shaking, I'm talking about shaking and not knowing that you are shaking. And that's a shaky position. So, mastery. Anushasitara means first to rule over oneself. Buddha is to say who can control his mind can control the world. So why we want to, Bhagavan is the master, the ruler of the universe. He only gave us a little task, First you master a little 180 pound. For those who have that weight. 100 and whatever pound. So, Anushasitaram. Then, Anoraniyam samanusmaret. Yaha smaret. Anoraniyam. Who remembers this reality, this absolute, who is Anoraniyam? Anoho Aniyam. Aniyam, sir. Aniyan. Anoho means subtle. Subtle than the subtle. That is subtler. Aniyan means the subtler than the subtlest. That self is called as subtler than the subtlest. What is the meaning of subtle, This is a very big term in Sanskrit language. The term is, they call it sukshma. Sukshma. And it's a very, very important term in scriptures. So therefore it comes all the time. Because in Western, I'm telling all of these things because in Western languages, these terms will not come up. Western languages, Western religions, and all of this sort of thing, these terminologies will not come up. What is the meaning of sukshmatva in Sanskrit, which is translated as anoho? Anu, sukshma. Anu is the substantive. It means the capability of the individual with all of his faculties to perceive, whether it is the physical senses or the mind, intellect, the sensitivity of the personality, all of those, to perceive finer, more refined things, to be able to observe and perceive the finer things in life, in the universe. Otherwise, we are very gross people. Gross means we only consume it all the, that is called as sthula, the other word, the opposite of sukshma is sthula. All gross things only. We only know what's going on outside and all what bacchanal going on in the village and in the country and the prime minister and president and all the things, all the outer things that are going on, especially the bacchanal things. What going on in the tabloid and what going on, like that kind of thing, all gross things. What about the subtle scent of one rose or one orchid as differentiated from another species of orchid in my garden? What about the sound of an African bee that comes looking for honey as opposed to a local bee? To notice subtler, simpler, finer things in life. And this is even at an ordinary level. But then to notice that I have entertained such and such thought in my mind, which is not good for my mental and physical health. This thought has come once, twice, and I'm entertaining it. And when that thought comes, I feed it. To notice that about the mind is to notice something subtler. I feed this type of thought when it comes. And so it takes on a life of its own, and then it comes and takes over my mind. Therefore, next time it comes, I will not feed it. It is said in everybody there are two wolves, fighting. Two wolves fighting. And which wolf will win? The wolf which we feed. So, to notice that this evil wolf has come. And then also to notice that my response is one that is really going to eradicate the wolf, not a response that is reactionary and is going to lead to even worse things. Now, that is the subtlety of the mind, the subtlety of the faculties that we are talking about, you see? So to notice around more subtle things, and then inside more subtle things, that is called as subtle. Sukshmatva. Tva in Sanskrit is like the nis in English. Sukshma is subtle, and sukshmatva is subtleness. I don't think that is there in English, but it's subtlety. So, the reality is like this. So now that is a wonderful quality to imbibe, to foster in our own heart, to emulate. Anoraniyan samanusmaredya means remembering it well. He who remembers well. Samanusmaredya. Ha! Sarvasya dhataram achintya rupam. Bhagavan is described as Sarvasya dhataram. He is the supporter, upholder of things in the world. And what a wonderful thing. He has given us, all of us, some little bit of, it presented all of us with some little bit of things to uphold, to upkeep. Huh? Some a little bit more than others. Like For most people, it's given a family. Okay, you keep up this family, keep up this household. Some people is given some more work. Okay, you keep up your household, but you have a class, you're a teacher, you have to keep up this class also because they depend on you. So some people is given some more. Keep up this company. Some people may be CEO of a company, he has to upkeep that company. And people give the whole nation. It's given different people different things to upkeep. So the neglect of that duty is a great path itself. Bhagavan is telling to Arjuna. The neglect of that duty is a great sin. And the sin comes because of the fact that if I am charged with keeping up this company and I don't, I am causing detriment to our whole string of people. Because one company doesn't survive by itself, it is tied to so many other companies and so many things. So I have to see. The sarvasya will be interpreted based on each person's own life. I mean, what is my ward for upkeeping? What is my responsibility? You see? In this yajna, for instance, Baba had to come and upkeep the puja day. He come and do the puja halfway and he go on there to drink chobi. No, what kind of thing is that? Ramesh is upkeeping the sound system. Everybody has to. In anything, some people are charged with certain duties to upkeep that thing. He put on the sound system and he gone about here and there and there's backfeeding now. Where Ramesh? So, you just identify your ward and make sure that you upkeep that thing. Then we are emulating Bhagavan's qualities. See? Sarvasya dhataram. Achintya rupam, next word. The next word is achintya rupam. God is unthinkable. That is the literal meaning. Unthinkable. Means what? The mind cannot really envelop God because the mind is a small, finite, insignificant instrument. And the reality is way beyond, infinite. Mind finite, reality infinite. How a finite thing can grasp the infinite? In fact, that finite mind is functioning only because of the infinite consciousness which is fueling it from behind to perceive things. So if that mind tries to turn to perceive its own source of fuel, that fuel goes behind the mind. That is like a flashlight trying to turn on itself. How it will happen? Turn on the batteries. If you have a flashlight, you can't see the batteries with the flashlight. I mean, you take out the batteries and put them in front. You take out the batteries and put them in front. What will happen? It have some real imaginary things in this world that really blow my mind, you know. Two fellas handing to the teacher 2 blank piece of paper. Remember I telling you that? They write exam and 2 of them hand in blank paper. And they come outside and fighting. Somebody asked, why are you fighting? One said, well, he hand in a blank paper and I hand in a blank paper also. So why are you fighting for that? Is it because the teacher go think we copy? That is really funny. They write nothing and teacher go think they copy? But anyway, this world have all sorts of real funny things like that. And one person go really take out the battery and put it in front now to see. No! The mind is fueled by the absolute consciousness which is right there behind the mind, and that mind cannot perceive that consciousness. What is the best thing for the mind to do? Sit down quiet. In Trinidad language, sit down quiet. Sit down quiet. But no but. Anytime the mind say like that, but I want to, no but. Sit quiet. The other way we say that is just be. In fact, You don't have to be. You already are. Being is effortless. You just have to stop doing all the other things. Being is our nature. That being is the absolute consciousness. And the mind is fueled by that absolute consciousness, and therefore that mind, being fueled by that consciousness, cannot perceive the consciousness. So that is called as achintya rupam. Unthinkable. Achintya rupam. Then how everywhere in the Shastra says, no God, no God, no God. Should know God. And he is telling you cannot know. Then next question people will ask. No God. What it means to say, see, and everywhere in the Upanishad, that is explained also. But people don't take the time to study. No God means Brahmavit Brahmeva Bhavati. It means become God. No God means to become God. Become God means what? Become quiet. God is silent. That's what I say. That absolute consciousness we are talking about is silent. Satchit Anandara. Anand is Shanti. Shanti itself is peace. So that absolute reality is by nature peaceful. One who goes inside and sits quietly, he will discover the ocean of peace. We become that reality. To know God is to become God. All of those statements have meaning only at certain levels. So the level at which we are talking about, become silent, become quiet. Sarvasya dataram achintya rupam aditya varanam tamasa parastat. That last line speaks about the effulgence, self-effulgence of Swayam Jyoti Bhagavan. Self-effulgence of the consciousness. Consciousness doesn't need any other source. Everything in the world needs some source, some cause. But this is uncaused self-effulgence. Doesn't need any second thing. There has to be, there has to necessarily be some uncaused cause of this universe. Otherwise, we will fall prey to what is called as ad infinitum. Anavastha dosha it is called. So you said this thing is caused by that thing, and that thing is caused by that thing, and that thing is caused by that thing, and then we go on infinitely. But that doesn't make any sense to the human intellect. So there has to be something which is the final cause of the whole universe. That final cause is the self-effulgent absolute reality. Here it's called Aditya Varnam, bright like the sun. Bright like the sun. No, don't imagine that if you go and see God inside, you'll get blind and all that kind of thing. Only these eyes can get blind. If you're looking inside, how you'll get blind? You can't get blind. And don't think that you'll see some bright. People are always going inside looking for some light. You'll get light-headed. Don't go inside looking for light. You just take it light. Sit down quiet. Don't go inside looking for light. Be the light. So, it is, when the word Aditya is given sun, it is used to tell that that is the light of consciousness. That self is the light of consciousness. That is all. It means, have you heard when people say his light went out? You heard? In English also, people say only in Trini. I don't know what they say in Trini. Light went out. Light gone out. So, it means to say he is not anymore conscious. Light. So, light in Vedanta, in the Upanishads and Vedas and all, is used to represent consciousness. And we know all these little lights, you know. But this absolute reality is bright, and the only example the rishis could have found in nature to tell about the brightness of this light means it's such an intense mass of consciousness. It's called Chinmaya. Chinmaya means mass of consciousness. It's Aditya Varnam. Because the brightest thing which we know is the sun. So just using a metaphor. Aditya Varnam, Tamasa Parastat, and at the same time, beyond all darkness, means darkness of ignorance. In the reality, there is no iota of ignorance. So even one wee tiny little bit. But in us, there is ignorance galore in the human being. He is so ignorant, he doesn't know that he doesn't know. What a wonderful thing. But in this reality, not a trace. Tamasa Parastat, beyond all ignorance. Now, remember the topic in this chapter. What is the topic? Now, see, all of these things we have to reflect on. That means what? I should become a bright, shining light, an example to all my beings and fellow beings and all people around me. Not a, what do you call, infamous Ravan in my community, but a famous Ram who will be like a burning torch for others to see the path. I should become bright like that. Give up all darkness and dreariness. People and gloom and doom. Tamasa Parastat, beyond all such thing. So now, the topic is, which is going on, is how to remember Bhagwan at the time of death. Now, this is what I have to do. In the time of life, I have to remember all of these things about the Lord. These are all His qualities. So that in the end, I will be very capable of remembering that reality. And therefore, he tells in the next verse now, Prayana Kale, what to do when that life is coming out. Means when I am departing. Life is coming out is wrong to term. When I am departing. Prayana Kale Manasa Chalena.
Prayana Kale Manasa Chalena.
Bhaktya Yukto Yoga Balena Chaiva.
Bhaktya Yukto Yoga Balena Chaiva.
Bhruvar Madhye Pranamaveshya Samyak.
Bhruvar Madhye Pranamaveshya Samyak.
Satam Param Purushamupaiti Divyam.
Satam Param Purushamupaiti Divyam.
Yadaksharam Veda Vido Vadanti.
Yadaksharam Veda Vido Vadanti.
Vishanti Yadyatayo Vitaragaha.
Vishanti Yadyatayo Vitaragaha.
Yadichanto Brahmacharyam Charanti.
Yadichanto Brahmacharyam Charanti.
Tatte Padam Sangrahena Pravakshe.
Tatte Padam Sangrahena Pravakshe.
In number 9 he says, in number 10 he says, Prayana Kale. Manasa Chalena. Prayana Kale means at the time of going. Time of departure. Don't feel sad. You're going no way. Nobody are going? No way. We'll be going back right here. In some place like that, you go meet plenty of friends again. What are you worried about? No worry about nothing. You meet plenty of friends wherever you go. One fella used to play, one good singer used to sing, and a tabla player used to play for him. So them two of them used to go all over the country singing and playing together for years. They were a real partner. If that tabla player not available, this singer not going. He only want that tabla player to play. So he telling the two of them discussing now. Whichever of us die first, when we go to Swarga, you make sure you contact the other one here and tell him whether it has music there. if it have any concert and all going on up there, you tell. So after some time, that tabla player died first. And this fella stopped singing. We had no tabla player. And he waiting for a call from that fellow. Call or WhatsApp or something. He waiting. Weeks pass and nothing come. Finally, after 2-3 good weeks, he contact him. So he said, how things? He said, good. Only one from there. How things here? Good. What about there? Tell them, man. You say you go tell it have concert and music there. It have music and thing. Well, it have good news and it have bad news. Really? Where is the good news? Good news, it have concert here too bad. Up. Lot of concert. Where is the bad news? You playing next week in a concert. And you singing next week in a concert here. That means prayana kale. Time to? Yes. Time to go. Prayana kale. Manasa achalena. At that time, keeping the mind fixed, the mind firm. Now see, who will be capable of fixing the mind at prayana kale? Whole life, your mind running wild, like an untamed Mustang. I don't know if that's a redundant phrase. And in the last now, your mind will be achala. Manasa achalena. Achala mind. Not possible. That is not going to happen. That means I have to sit down on a daily basis and stabilize that mind, concentrate that mind on one object. Om Namah Shivaya, whatever our object is. The practice of stabilization has to be done on a daily basis. Bhagavan is telling, see, the art of dying is demanding. The art of dying is demanding. That is why we die like Semp. So he died like a Semp with his 2 legs up in the air. Tulsi has the right that when he died, then when he going to sleep, it have one bird. When he going to sleep, he just sleep with 2 legs up in the air like this. It have one bird. I forget the name of the bird. In Ramayana. When he going to sleep, he just go and sleep on his back with 2 legs up in the air like this. Somebody asked him, why are you sleeping like that? He said, in case the sky fall long. In case the sky fall long, I'll hold it up. Moghasha, it is called in 9th chapter. False hopes. So if I living like my life like that and I'm not paying attention to fixing the mind on some object of concentration, higher object is supposed to be, concentrate on something higher. Achalena manasa. It am unmoving, firmly fixed mind, controlled mind. Achalena manasa. Then prayana kale manasachalena bhaktya yukto yoga balena chaiva. With devotion. That devotion has to be practiced throughout the life. Devotion. Very important thing. Because half of a person's personality is emotional. We are not only an intellectual being, although we may be an emotional wreck. That is a different matter. But half the person's personality is emotional. The emotional side. There's an intellectual side and an emotional side. Either can be undeveloped, but that doesn't mean to say it is not there for the taking. It is not there affecting also. Most of the time, the emotion is an emotional wreck and the intellect is intellectual confusion. But those two ingredients coming together doesn't make for a good brew. That makes for a very deadly brew. When emotional wreck and intellectual confusion. So in throughout the life now, bhaktya, see now the prayana kale, at the time I should have, this devotion should be ready. That time how I would bring bhakti? Love for the absolute reality, love for God, love for my Krishna, Rama, whichever name or form of God you worship. If that bhakti was not there, I'll not be able to bring it here at the end of life now, you see. Bhaktya yukto yoga balena chaiva. So devotion has to be practiced. That's why we go on singing. And anything. It's not what we sing and how many bhajans we sing. That's not the important thing. How much bhav, how much love, how much devotion we had when we were singing that bhajan. It is not how many bhajans we know. Otherwise in Trinidad and in Guyana, sorry to say, I don't know about Suriname. When Trinidad people and Guyanese people, Rama, when they don't sing the bhajan, they go, how a song they? For who you singing for? I tired hear that. And in these countries, people has fight to sing. You know, a man going to satsang and they give here a bhajan to sing, he get vexed too bad. Me going back there? What kind of thing is this? That is not bhakti. Bhajan is such an important part of bhakti. But that is not bhajan. That is a personal display of ego. Sing a little bit. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ramachandra ki jai, Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Bhaktya, at the end, Prayana Kale, that time we should also have devotion. The devotion to be mustered up in our life. Devotion which we have practiced before. Love for God. That if it is not there, it means to say, see, we have in Bhagavad Gita, you will see, if you see any picture of Arjuna, there are 4 horses and there are reins from all of the horses, you know. In the very same way, we have many faculties, and at the time of death, to be able to pull all of those faculties together, we need all the different reins. Bhakti is one of the reins. You see, one of the reins, and then here the others also, concentration and all, that we should have practiced before, so that we have it available to pull ourselves together. Bhaktya yukto yoga bale yoga. Yoga balena cheva. By practicing the power of yoga. Meaning to say, here, of course, yoga has many meanings. The power of concentration. Yoga. To be able to concentrate. Because all yoga, whether it is you starting from yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, or whichever it is, going up all the way to the end, all the beginning portion, there is all concentration. See, all these asanas which we do, don't get caught up with them. People get caught up and develop a big ego with all of these asanas also, all these postures and all. To twist your body in every direction, big ego comes from that thing. A baby could do that better than you. That is meant, asana is meant to, as one of the 8 steps, Ashtanga Yoga. That step of asana is meant to bring mastery and concentration by using the body. But I am supposed to move on. Pranayama, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. This asana is only the 3rd step. People get stuck in the 3rd step. You're going from here to Porospain and you get stuck in Marbella. You can't get nothing done. If you go into Porospain to do some work and you get stuck in Marbella, then what you achieve? So, yoga bala is that ability to concentrate, Bhagavan tells here. Yoga bala, to bring the personality together. Yoga balena chaiva yuktaha. Yuktaha means bringing it together also. 2 words have the same root, yuktaha and yoga. Both words have the same root, yuj, to unite. Bhrovar madhye pranamavesha samyak. Sadam param purusham upaiti divyam. We'll see those 2 lines tomorrow. Okay. Just before we have the arati, last night I had requested our very dear Dr. Stephen Ramrup, who is here, to speak with you for 5 minutes to give you some inspiration and some little bit of from his vast resource of wisdom. This doctor has held many, many influential positions in this country and served this nation in so many wonderful ways. Dr. Stephen Ramrup.
Thank you very much, Hariom.
There you are.
Yesterday was a very, very important day for me. Yesterday, a number of things happened, and some of them happened here. I was telling some of the students from the mission last night, Swami, that it was very interesting that when I came, I always had these preconceived ideas about Pleasantville.
Not pleasant.
Pleasant. Unpleasantville. And when I came, I was pleasantly surprised. Because what I found was very interesting, the host and the hostess and the family, when I entered into the home, they turned out to be my relatives. Very close relative. And before I even came, I was very much impressed because the people around the village, they were so happy to extend courtesies to allow us to park securely. And they did it not because they wanted to do it or they had to do it or they were getting money. You could have seen the passion in their eyes. You could have seen that they wanted to do it. It was something that I found was very good. You know, it shows that there is a lot of camaraderie and a lot of support for the Yajna, as well as for the function, which I understand goes for the last 15 years. Mm-hmm. And it is what I've seen, when people do things, it's like you can see it was a selfless service. It wasn't that they were doing it to get money or, they were very happy to do it. And that impressed me before I even came in. And then when Swami told me that Dr. Mansingh was from Jamaica, he said to meet him, for those of you all who remembered. And Dr. Mansingh had to leave and he said, Stephen, come outside. So when he called me, I said, okay, I think I know who that is. Because many years ago, I graduated from UWI, went across to Edinburgh in Scotland, did my fellowship in orthopedic surgery, came back as a consultant in Mount Hope, and we used to have these conferences. Of course, I studied in Jamaica. I did my MBBS in Jamaica. And it was there that I met my other colleagues like Dr. Chris Rose, and we had conferences. And Dr. Mansingh was actually a resident in training when I was a consultant, and then he became a consultant, and I knew him from then. But even more so, we actually met when the World Cup cricket was in the Caribbean, because myself and Dr. Nigel Camacho and Dr. Marian Lucas from Jamaica, we worked in all the Caribbean islands during the matches. And of course, who was there with us? Dr. Mansingh. So it was very interesting. And it was very, I was looking at Friedman, who was doing some research on Einstein quantum entanglement, and he was talking about, we know that a lot of what you're saying is linked up so much to the quantum mechanics that it is so interesting. And when Einstein was talking about the spooky things where matter is all over the universe at the same time, and we're all connected in thought, and we're all connected in one vibration, and all of us are one, and that all 7.6 billion people on the planet at this moment are all connected, and that 300,000 people die every day, and 150,000 roughly are being born every day. So there's a net attrition of about 150,000 people every day in this world. It is really fantastic to listen to some of the things he was saying. Exactly 40 years ago from yesterday, that was April the 16th, 1978, I was in 6-1 Science in Presentation College, San Fernando. And I had to do my yajna, I had to do my sacrifice and touch the feet of the late Maharishi Yogi, who in Presentation College, through the late principal of that college, he introduced Transcendental Meditation. So for 40 years, I've been a TM student. And it was yesterday, was the anniversary date of the 40 years, that I touched Maharishi's feet in Presentation College, San Fernando. And that was interesting, isn't it? Right, it was so interesting. And then, what was even the best thing of all yesterday? You see, in the morning, I was sitting with my wife. We were having a little panchite. And, we were talking and she was saying, well, Stephen, why it is that everything around you telling me that there's divinity in everything and there is God in everything. And I said, well, yeah, the atoms are here and they have molecules and dark energy and quarks and everything. Everything is made up of atoms and God is with everything. She said, but even the criminals and the people who are killing people. That was the subject of yesterday's something. She didn't believe me when I told her, but she believed Swami when he told her. Because you see, in my mind, I remembered many years ago, I was the head of the hospital, San Fernando. I was the chief of staff. And there was a shooting that occurred at Gulf City, just by where they have Kentucky and all of those areas there. Some young bandits had shot and they were shooting some police officers. And I remember that morning I was in the office at the San Fernando Hospital medical director's office. And they called me. They brought in a young policeman who was shot in the chest. And they brought in a bandit who was shot in the head. And there was two persons in ICU. One was a 75-year-old lady who had a stroke. My choice as the head of the hospital was to admit either the police officer or the bandit and remove the 75-year-old because she had the least, the greatest, she could die then, she could pass. I had to choose the bandit because the prognosis for the young police officer was very bad. That was the two wolves you talked about. So I had to make an ethical consideration whether to forget the bandit because he was bad. In the end, I think the good wolf, I guess today you talked about gay rights and whatever. The good wolf prevailed, and I admitted the bandit. The bandit lived, the police officer died, and the lady died. And that goes to what you were saying about, how we have these wolves in our minds, but we always have to remember that there's a balance. And the final good thing that happened yesterday. John, you remember many years ago, I lost the wedding ring when I was delivering somebody, a child? Well, it turns out that child was the son of two pickpockets. So now you don't blame me again, right? Thank you very much. Sure.
Thank you, Doctor. Wonderful. Those are things we talk about in Shastras, in the scriptures. People who have the right knowledge, when the situations come up, they're able to make the right decision. The right wolf will win. But when they don't have the right knowledge, the wrong wolf wins. And it is a proper decision, absolutely proper according to Shastra. As a doctor, you have to see. I have 3 patients. Which one has the best chance of surviving? That is the one. And that's why this was given by Sushena in Ramayana. In Valmiki Ramayana, Dr. Sushena gave a whole lecture about a doctor's duty. Doctor doesn't have to see who is from whose side, who is bad. That is not a doctor's work. And doctor's work is to see who has the greatest chance of surviving. Sushena was from Ravan's side, but he came to save somebody on Ram's side. He cannot see enemy and friend and this and that. This is Shastra. So doctor is following the Shastras. But that knowledge is required. And besides the knowledge, one more thing, the will also. There are many people who know the right thing but still don't have the will. A lot of activities are happening. I told you yesterday about our Trika raffle which is coming up, Swami Shantananji which is coming up, and then also we have Pandit Ronu Majumdar, who is a very well-known, world-famous flutist who is coming. Pandit Majumdar is the winner of presidential award in India also. Very nominated for Grammy also. And played his flute in many films and all. So he's a very great flutist who is coming at the end of July 27th at the ashram. You please mark that date. We are having a rare treat from a world-renowned flutist. If you go on YouTube and all, you'll see so many countless videos on Ronu Majumdar. All right. Okay. The tea party and the car raffle on the 30th of May. Please pay attention to those also. And on the 27th of May, our Ganga Dhara festival. Tomorrow, I will talk some more about that. आरती के लिए सब खड़े हो जाइए, कल देखेंगे.